I will record this class so that Mas Yasafi and Mbak Mazaya can review the class. Yeah. All right. So today we are going to learn about factors and production theory in Islam. So in economics, usually we have a very big discussion about distribution, distribution, and then production, production. And today we will learn about the productions, and maybe later on we will discuss about the distributions. Okay, so another aspect of economic activity that strongly support consumption activities is production. So when we speak about the consumption, as we discussed last week, we usually the discussion of consumption is strongly related to the productions. So what is production? Production is activities to produce goods and services. Without production activities, consumer will not be able to consume the goods and services they need. So without production, we are not going to be able to consume, to be able to ask for demand. Yeah. So production is strongly related to the consumptions. Yeah. So production here is an activity which are response to consumption activities. So when we have a demand, when we have consumption, a desire to consume, we will have a production. Okay. So this is some definitions of productions. A production is a business or activity to increase the use or value of an item. So usually we have raw material, right? Assalamualaikum. Is it Mas Yasafi? Okay. How are you, Mas Yasafi? Are you good? Are you doing good? Hello, Mas Yasafi. All right. So let us learn about the definition of production. Okay, so production is a business or it is an activity to increase the use or value of an item. For example, we have wood. Yeah. You know, the wood is an item with value, of course. But if you transform this wood into table, into chairs, so the value of wood will be increased. So here we have raw material as wood and we have the final product as table and chairs. So the transformation from wood to become the table and chairs is a production. So productions mean that it is a process to transform the raw material, wood, to become the final good. And this final good is a good with the added value. It's an added value goods. All right. So when we speak about production, it is a process of transforming raw material to final goods, to value added goods. Okay. So according to Kahf, Munzir Kahf, 1992, production means human efforts to improve not only the physical condition of the material, but also the morality to achieve the goal of life as outlined in Islam, namely the happiness of the world and the hereafter. So when we speak about the productions, according to the Islamic economic perspective, it is not only transforming the physical condition of such materials, for example, wood becoming chairs, but also we need to consider about the aspect of morality, because in Islam we have the goal to achieve al-falah, which is the happiness of the world and the happiness in the hereafter. So please remember, so the production in Islam is not only about transforming the physical appearance, the physical condition of such materials, but also we need to look at the goal, the objective, the morality behind it, as outlined in Islam, which is the happiness in the here, in the world, in this world, and the hereafter, in akhirat. Okay. Another definition, by Siddiq. So production means the provisions of goods and services by taking into account the value of justice, virtue or benefit, maslahah, for the community. So when we speak about production, we don't speak about only transforming the physical condition, but it is also about bringing manfaat, bringing maslahah, bringing benefits to the people, to the community. So in his view, as long as the producer has acted justly and brought goodness to the society, he has acted Islamically. So the most important thing, production in Islam, is not only about transforming the physical appearance of materials, but also how we bring benefits, how we bring maslahah, how we bring manfaat to the society, how we bring goodness to the society. This is also taken into account when we speak about the production in Islamic perspective. Okay, Mbak Mazaya, Mas Yasafi, Another definition of productions, this one comes from Muhammad Rawas Kolahji. So he gave the equivalent of the word production in Arabic as al-intaj. So this is the production in Arabic is al-intaj, which literally means ijadu sil'atin, to create or make something. Right? So when we create or make something, we are producing. Okay? So in general, the principle of production are two. So this is how we maximize output by using fixed inputs. So how we maximize producing a lot of products by using fixed inputs. The same level of input, the same level of raw materials, and also minimize the use of inputs to achieve the same level of output. So this is the concept of efficiency. Efficiency. When we speak about efficiency, we usually speak about how we can maximize our output, our product, by using the same input, the same level of input, or in another way, how we minimize the input used for the productions to achieve the same level of output. So this two principle is very important. This is what we call the principle of efficiency. So we achieve efficiency when we can maximize our output by using the same amount of fixed input, or we achieve efficiency by minimizing the use of our input to achieve the same level of output. All right. Is it clear, Mbak Mazaya, Mas Yasafi? Do you want to ask any question in regard to the efficiency principle? I think that this is clear. All right, so these are several ayah related to the production in, for example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 31. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, "Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa," a viceroy on the earth. Khalifa means that we have the duty to make this earth prosperous. We have the duty to keep the earth safe. We have the duty to maintain its sustainability. So Khalifa, penjaga, pemakmur. This is what we mean by Khalifa. So Khalifa, Khalifa mean, what does it mean, Khalifa? Khalifa mean like we are keeping the sustainability of the earth, maintaining the sustainability of the earth. We are keeping this earth safe. We are not excessively use the earth. We are not polluting the earth. This is what it means, Khalifa. So the safe guardian of the earth. It is Khalifa. All right, so we as a human created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we were created as Khalifa, as the safe guardian of the earth. So we have the duty to maintain its sustainability, to keep it safe, yeah, to use every natural resources in a just way. Yeah, in a just way. All right, so this is another hadith related to the productions. So for example, a hadith narrated by Tabrani and Imam Dailami say that indeed Allah really likes to see his servants trying to find halal sustenance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves his servants who are trying his best to find halal sustenance, yeah, rizki yang halal. Also narrated by Tabrani, trying to find halal sustenance is mandatory for every Muslim. Yeah, narrated by Imam Bukhari and Muslim, there is nothing better than someone who eats food except if the food is obtained from the result of his own labor. So if anyone among you looks for firewoods, then collects it and binds it with ropes, carries it on his back, that is actually better than begging for someone else. So meaning that begging is a very poor act. Yeah, begging is not allowed in Islam. So it is better for us, you know, like to look for the firewood, yeah, to go to the jungle and look for the firewood. It is better, yeah, than begging to someone else. So meaning that you have to work. Yeah, it is better for you to work the hard work, the dirty work, yeah, than begging to somebody. Yeah, so Islam is not, Islam does not support the act of begging. Yeah, so Islam support the act of productions. So if you are Muslim, you need to work, not begging to someone else, right? Okay, so the main principle of Islamic producer are, so these are the values of producer in Islam. First, he has a full commitment to justice. Yeah, he has the drive to serve the community, to bring goodness to the community, to bring manfaat, maslahah to the community. Yeah, and also make the profit. Yeah, so profit optimization is allowed with the limitation of the two principles above. So you can make any profit you want as long as you keep these two values with you. First, you need to commit to the justice, and you need to drive manfaat. You need to bring goodness to the community. So as long as these two values are fulfilled, you can make any profit, you can make any business, you can make any business activity, trading activity, you can make any profit as you want. Yeah. So these two values should be fulfilled and should be maintained. Okay. The production factors of the Islamic economy and the conventional economy are no different. So these are the production function, the production factors. So when you want to produce something, these are the factors that you need. First, labor. You need to have labor. Second, natural resources. Natural resources is the raw materials, the inputs that you use for the productions, right? And also the artificial resources. This is the technology. Yeah, this is the technology. And another factor of production here that we need to mention is also the capital. Yeah. So in economic, there are four, yeah, factors of productions. Labor. Yeah, labor means the worker the one who produce. Natural resources, the inputs, the raw materials. Yeah, the artificial resources, the technology. Yeah, the technology that you use for the production process. And also we need also the capital, the money, yeah, to start the business. So these are the four production factors. Okay, is there any question, Mbak Mazaya or Mas Yasafi, about the factors of productions? Mbak Mazaya, are you still here with me? Mas
Yes,
Yasafi? Yeah, please don't hesitate if you have any question ya, Mbak Mazaya, Mas Safi ya. All right. So again, there are 4 factors of productions: labor, the one who produce, natural resource, the input used for the productions, the artificial resources, the technology, and etc. And also the other factor is the capital use. Yeah, the capital, the money you use to start the business. This is also the factor of productions. Okay. So more specifically, the purpose of production activities is to increase the benefits that can be realized in the various forms. Namely, for example, meeting needs at a moderate level. So producer only produce commodities that are needed, have the real benefits for consumer, and the quantity is within reasonable limits. So we as the producer, we cannot produce huge amount of products without any reason. For example, you only need 100, but you produce 10,000. Yeah. So the needed demand is only 100. Why producing 10,000? This is waste. Yeah. This is inefficient. This is not allowable in Islam. So as a producer, we can only produce something that are needed, that have real benefit, not brings harm. Okay, for the consumer, and the quantity is within the reasonable limits. Okay. The second one, finding community needs and meeting them. So producers are not only reactive to consumer needs, but also proactive, creative, and innovative in finding needs. So we as the producer, we need to look at the market. But what do people need in the market? What do people look for in the market? Yeah, so we can produce that needs. So you cannot produce something that it is not needed by the market. Yeah, become wasteful. All right. So the third, prepare supplies of goods or services in the future. So we need to look for the supplies of goods and or services in the future. Number 4, production activities still pay attention to the needs of the future generations. So we need to look at the intention of the future generation, whether they need it or not. Yeah. And last but not least, we need to make sure the fulfillment of facilities or social activities and worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the product that we produce should fulfill, yeah, should facilitate the activities which make us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we make products which make us further to Allah, yeah, which make us avoid Allah, this is not a very good product in Islam. We cannot produce product, yeah, that is not allowable, that brings us further to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why we say that we need to consider about the benefit aspect, the morality behind every production that we make. Okay, Mbak Mazaya, Mas Yasafi. All right. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the prophet Dawood was a blacksmith who made weapons. Prophet Adam was a farmer. Prophet Noah was a carpenter. Yeah. Prophet Idris was a tailor, and Prophet Musa was a shepherd. Yeah. So the important point from this hadith is that even our Nabi, even our prophets, they are producer. They work on something. They don't beg to somebody, but they work in order to get their needs, in order to get their money, their income. Right. So the motivation of a Muslim producer is related to ethics and social responsibility. So when we look at the values behind the production in Islam, it is strongly related to ethics and to social responsibility. Okay, that's the value in Islam. We need to when we produce something, we need to make sure that it is not only yeah, needed by the people, but it also bring morality. It also bring manfaat. It's also bring manfaat. It bring people, it brings the community closer to Allah. Yeah, we cannot produce something that harm the people, that make the people further to Allah. Yeah, we cannot make this kind of product. So in Islam, the production focus on ethics and how we achieve social responsibility. Okay. So this is the producer behavior. So when we speak about the behavior of producer, yeah, they will try to maximize profit, to bring as higher profit as they can, and to optimize the production efficiency. Yeah. So when we speak about the producer behavior, they focus on maximizing profit and bringing efficiency to their productions. Yeah. So the validity of profit for production activities in Islamic economy is not in doubt. Islamic teaching are very positive and proactive in seeking profit as long as they do not violate the Sharia. But the profit itself is a sustenance given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we speak about the profit in Islam, there is no, what we call it, like a prohibition related to how much profit do you make. You can make as higher profit as you can, as long that you cannot violate with the Sharia, as long as you fulfill the ethics, you fulfill the characteristic of Islamic producer. Yeah. So you can make as high profit as you want, but remember, you cannot violate Sharia. What are the things that violate the trade activities? For example, there is a lie, yeah, during the transaction process. This is not allowed in Islam. You cannot lie while you are trading, right? So, and also, for example, we sell defective product without confirming to the buyer, without telling the buyer about the defects. This is also not allowed. You are deceiving the buyer. This is not allowed in Islam. So we can make any profit as we can, as high profit as we can, as long as we do not violate the Sharia. We cannot tell lies. We cannot sell defective product without telling them about the defects. Yeah, we cannot, for example, sell products which have a lot of uncertainty. Yeah, so we have value, we have ethics, yeah, to be fulfilled during the trade activities in Islam. All right. So next, all right. So this is the production function in Islam. So the production function is technical relationship between factor of production, between the input and the production and the output, as a numerical or mathematical statement of the relationship between input and output. Yeah. So here, the production function is a function which show you the relationship between inputs and outputs. How much production will be produced using this input. Yeah. So by having, yeah, this input and output, we can see the relationship between the input and output. So in economics, the output is a function of L. L is labor. Yeah. K is capital. S is let's say K is capital, right? K is capital. The S is the technology. So we have labor, we have capital, and S is we have technology, and also we can have inputs, yeah, raw materials. So L means labor, K means the capital use, the money used for the productions. And also we have S. S is others. It could be technology, it could be raw materials, it could also be land, yeah. How much land? Yeah, so I think we need to understand this production function through through calculating the total production, marginal production, and average productions. Okay, so let me see the table here. So here, this is an example of how we calculate the production function. So for example, here, we have a number of input X and a number of output here. Yeah. So but before this, I think we have another column here to okay, so if we try to understand about this, yeah, for example, input, output, we should have here total production. Yeah, total production is input multiplied by output. Yeah, so let's take a look at other table. Maybe we can look at other table from the internet. Production function table and graph. Table and graph. All right, so this is okay, yeah, I think this, okay, let me see. Wait, let me try to look about the production function. Okay, so I have uploaded other slides, yeah, in Aula, so you can take a look of production function. Okay, so I think this give you us you know, like a better table. So here, let's take an example of this production function in a table. So the first column is the number of workers. So the second column is the output, the number of output produced, in this case cookies produced per hour. And then we have the marginal product of labor, yeah, how much increase if we increase one input of production. Yeah, so this is the cost, and this is the cost of factory, this is the total cost, and this is the total cost of input. So we don't speak about here, we're not going to speak about these costs because we will speak about this later. But let's take a look about this table. So imagine if you are a producer of cookies, yeah. So by increasing, yeah, the number of worker, you will increase your outputs of production. For example, yeah, here, if you have 0 worker, you have 0 cookies produced. If you have 1 worker, this 1 worker can produce 50 cookies. Yeah. If you have 3 workers, you can produce 120 cookies per hour. If you have 4 workers, you can produce 140. And if you have 5 workers, you can produce 150. So if we look at the marginal product of labor, the marginal product of input, we see that this is the marginal, the difference, yeah, the difference in the output produced. So the difference between getting 0 worker to 1 worker is 50. And the difference between 50 production by 1 worker and 90 production by 2 workers is 40. And you see that the marginal product of labor, by increasing the labor, yeah, it reduces the marginal product of labor. Yeah. Why? Because in short time, yeah, for example, you have a factory, right? This factory. So if you have the factory and you keep increasing the number of workers, yeah, the workload become inefficient. You cannot produce in a very tiny space. You have more worker, yeah, and each worker is making cookies, but in the same situation, in the same place, so that when you increase worker, the higher the worker, the more worker available there, yeah, you will see that the production will decrease, because the more labor there, yeah, the lower the productivity. Yeah, because you need to increase the space, you need to make the space wider in order them to work productively. Yeah. So here what we call the diminishing marginal product. Yeah. So the diminishing marginal product is a functions, yeah, where the more worker you hire, the product, look at here, yeah, the product is diminishing. Yeah, it will goes like this, because as you increase the number of workers, there is no space for making cookies anymore. So it will become more difficult to make cookies. That's why we need more space. Yeah. So this is what we call diminishing marginal product. So when we increase the number of input higher, the number of input here, we see that it is decreasing. Yeah, the number of cookies produced will decrease. All right. So let's go back to the slide here. So these are, yeah, for example, this is the marginal product. Yeah, the difference between the output by increasing the same number of input. Yeah, and this is the average productions. So so if we can see here that the total production, the average production, the marginal productions, they all have a diminishing return. Yeah. So as you increase the number of input, yeah, this is the output. Yeah. As you increase the number of input, you will have an increase in output to a certain point, and then from this point you will have a decreasing number. Yeah, you can even have a negative number, because, for example, the factory is only enough for 10 people, but you add 1,000 people in the factory. So nobody can work in a very tiny space. It increases the inconvenience for the worker to work. Yeah. So by increasing the input here, yeah, it will increase the output, but to a certain point, until it will start to decrease. the output product, the output produced. Okay, so this is what we'll call the diminishing marginal product. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what we call a decreasing return to variable input. Yeah, so as we increase the input, yeah, look at this, the total production will start to increase, but until to a certain point, and then it will reduce. It will start to reduce. Yeah, this is also the same. If we look at the marginal product and the average productions, we see that as we increase the input, it is started to decrease until it touched the negative marginal product and average product. Okay. So let's continue. Yeah. So production is a process that has been exist since human inhabited this planet. Allah has ordained that human act as khalifs. Yeah, this is inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa, as stated in Al-Baqarah. And the earth is a field. Human are the manager of everything that lies on the face of the earth to maximize its function and use. So production in Islam is an order to find sources that are lawful and good for production and do not oppress other parties. So these are the kind of production that were exist during the time of the Prophet. If we can see here, there are more or approximately 178 industrial business that move the community's economy. Yeah, among them, there are some that are still stand out until today. Yeah, for example, making weapons, weaving company, making clothes, timber and building companies, wood and furniture, for example. Yeah, jewelry, cosmetic. Yeah, architecture. So these are the kind of industrial businesses that were exist in the time of the Prophet. Okay. Okay, so I think that I will try to make another video to describe about these curves. But the thing that you need to remember is that when we speak about the productions, we have a diminishing marginal return. So by increasing output, increasing input, we will increase output. This is output, right? To a certain point. Yeah, to a certain point until it start to decrease. And this point is the optimum point, and the decreasing will reach, yeah, maybe some of them will reach until zero, until the negative values, but some of them will stay like this. So meaning that if we increase the number of inputs only for one kind of input without increasing the other inputs, we're gonna have a decreasing marginal productions. Okay. All right. So do you understand here, Mbak Mazaya and Mas Yasafi, for decreasing or diminishing marginal product?
Yes.
Mas Yasafi, are you still with me, Mas Yasafi? Hello, Mas Yasafi, you there? Okay. So again, yeah, so this shows you about the production function, and this is, we have input, we have output, we have the marginal productions, we have the average productions. Yeah. So here, by increasing the number of input, yeah, we do have increased the number of output, but the marginal product, the difference between before and after, is also increasing until it reached to certain point. So let's look at the marginal product. Do we have the margin here? Yeah. See here. Yeah, okay. Input. Yeah, when we speak about the input, when we speak about the total production is the input times output. So when we multiply the input times output, we will have an increasing total production. Okay. But what about the marginal production? Marginal production will also increase, but at certain point, by increasing the number of input, it started to go decreasing, to diminish until it reached zero and negative value. Okay. So here it said that if you only increase one input without increasing the other input, for example, if you increase labor without increasing the land, without increasing the capital, without increasing the technology, yeah, if you only increase one input and the other stays the same, yeah, this is what will happen. So you will have a positive marginal productions, and then at certain point it will start to diminish, it will start to reduce. Yeah, that's why in the long run, later on we will focus on the long run. Yeah, we will have a short run and long run curves. So then we will have a better idea about what happened if we increase the number of input. Okay. At this point, you just need to remember that by increasing the number of input and the others input remain the same, you will have an increase in output until it reaches to certain point, yeah, until it reaches to certain point, and then it will start to diminish. Okay. All right. So I will try to look I will try to make a video or try to look the video in YouTube to give you a better understanding about the total production, marginal production, average production, and hopefully you will understand about the graphs, the curves, that the lines that associated with the production functions. Okay. Okay. As a conclusion, I would like to wrap up today's class. So please remember that in Islam, the productions should be able to bring manfaat, to bring goodness, to bring benefit to the society. We cannot produce something that are haram. We cannot produce something that harms people. Yeah. And also at this point, I need you to remember that as we increase the number of input, we will have an increasing output until a certain point. And from that point, the output will start to diminish. It will reach zero until, yeah, it may reach the negative value of production of our output. Okay. All right. Is there any question from Mbak Mazaya or Mas Yasafi with regard to today's class?
No, sir.
All right. Okay. I think that that's all for today's class. Maybe I will see you later in the next class or through the feed or in the next class, yeah, or next week. Okay, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Let's close this class by reciting Hamdalah and Kafaratul Majlis. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Thank you, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.